So now we're going to take a look at doing a takedown, okay? In the gi, not too much changes. You still can do all your wrestling, but some things do change, okay? So we'll have on there stand up. We'll go over kind of like what the no gi controls are, okay? So no gi, usually, without no gi, we're usually gripping collar ties, right? And I'm doing a lot of hand fighting up top, right? So inside bicep control, a collar tie, catching the elbow, breaking the tie, all things like this, okay? Now, in the gi, a lot of the times, if it's just a straight wrestler, they'll still play with their collar ties. Like, I'll still do collar ties, but for the most part, the collar tie gets replaced by the inside collar frame, okay? So where I would normally be like this on him, I would want to grip and be like this on him, okay? More of a judo style of fighting for the inside control on the collar grips, because essentially the collar grips are controlling the shoulder lines, right? The same way I'd be here gripping and we'd be fighting for this control. Now we're fighting for the inside of the control, okay? Me gripping the collar and him gripping my collar, and now we're fighting for this inside control. The same way, if I was doing a collar tie, he did a collar tie, I'd be here, he'd be here, he'd be trying to get to the inside positioning, yeah, and I'd be trying to get to the inside positioning, okay? Same thing with the collar grips, more of a judo style, right? So in here, it'd be a lot more of me gripping inside, gripping, pushing, staying at a distance, and then get ready to shoot. A lot of jiu-jitsu guys like to go like this. Okay, not really great for trying to do takedowns, but they try to like keep you away, right? And the cloth is there for that reason. Okay, a lot of the takedowns now can be manipulated by me gripping this collar, where if I grip the collar because it's going to pull his shoulders, the same way if I pulled his head and I pulled his arm, and the foot will travel with me. Okay, but if I grip here and I pull it out with this grip, I can pull that leg with me. So I go here, and the leg will still come near me. Okay, just because I have the same control. Okay, so if I want this leg, right leg to come to me, I tip here, and then now under hook, single, and these motions, they apply right away. Okay, another thing is, one of the bigger differences in the gi is with cloth is when I do a single leg and I get into anything and I catch, a lot of the times now they throw the lapel through the middle, right up the groin, and this controls the hip line a little bit more, and I can start manipulating it, and it's hard to get out of this the same way. Does that mean he can't? No. He can sprawl, he can find his way out of it, but it does create a little bit of difficulty, okay? And the cloth on the inside of the pant grips. I can grip the inside of the pant grips where normally he'd probably be able to step it out, and I can't really grip anything. I just can run him over. But if I get close enough and I grip it, when I want to move him, I can move and push and pull, and now it becomes a lot easier to do a takedown. So these grips, okay, inside of the knee and the lapel, they change things, okay? But ideally, it's still the same. Still controlling the side of his hip line and still doing all the inside controls. So it changes in the sense of the actual cloth grip we're using, but it doesn't change in the way of like the structure that needs to be controlled. Okay, so I still want to control his shoulder, I still want to control his head. So gripping here controls that. Still want to get to his hip line because it's a takedown, right? Especially like if it's a single or anything like this. Okay, but now I have extra tools, or I have tools that they can use against me. Okay, so if I'm here and he grips in the inside, just like a collar tie, right? If he has a collar tie, right, I don't want to leave that. He's controlling the inside. I want to control the inside. So I want to leave my hand inside, or I want to break it. In the grip, when he has a grip in here, I want to get to the inside of this grip and control that shoulder line and get into here, and then be able to shoot my attacks, whether it's near side or far side. Okay, so those things, all right, are really the only things that change in the stand-up. Most of everything else is the same. Okay, so control differences for me when I think about the gi is, okay, sleeve grip and breaking grips. When he wants to go here, because I now have to break grips, right, I have to be able to pop this grip off, okay, downward, okay, or use it to my advantage and fight for the inside control using the collar to open up that space so that I can constantly get in. Okay, those are the main things that change, right? And distance, because he can stiff arm me from here, grip, and stiff arm me and put his hips back. I have to be able to constantly go through this or break and get closer to that distance and be able to shoot it. Okay, those are the main things. Here, okay, inside control, and then inside control. Okay, him spacing distance, breaking grips, re-gripping. Okay, those are the things that change in here, right? Or once I get inside, when I shoot, this becomes a lever to control his shoulder. Where if I get a collar tie on him and I went to do it, he could always pop up his head pretty quick, okay? But here, I can actually pull his shoulder down, get him here, and then I can pass the lapel to make sure he doesn't go nowhere. And then I can move him forward and backward and grip, and then I'll pull him to me and get easy takedowns, okay? Those are the main differences, right? Everything else is like, as far as like, okay, I need to control, I need to block the inside of my frames, I need to shoot in for the single, get to the hip line, go to the back. Those things are all the same. Nothing there changes, okay? It's just the upper body controls more than anything, okay? So me paying attention, okay, I want to break that right away, okay? He grips, I want inside control. Okay, I get to the single, okay, can still do the single, but I can pass this, and I can get to here. When he does it to me, he gets to here, he gets another single. Me paying attention to his hand, me wizarding and gripping, nothing like that changes. Everything applies the same as wrestling. The only difference is I have cloth, so like the belt plays a factor. He doesn't have it on right now, but now I can do things with his belt to keep tension on me, help throw him around. So for the most part, the controls really only change probably like waist up, minus the pan grip. Okay, so he's gripping, inside control, breaking grips. Okay, when I get into the single, I see that I have the lapel through to grip. Okay, and or if he comes into me, I have a pan grip, belt grip that I can go and play with if I need to, that can create some little takedowns to get me out of some trouble, okay? But for the most part, everything else applies. Wrestling still applies, distances apply, level changes apply, hip to hip applies. And the way I look at the stand-up in the gi is you're applying your wrestling style, okay, to the takedowns, or, okay, you're applying your judo style, okay? And a mixture of those is probably the best, but you still got to pay attention to a little bit of more of the upper body controls in the cloth, so you don't get thrown or anything like that. Or you're really good at wrestling, but they can weave the pan grips and you get stuck with the pan grips. Little things like that. But for the most part, pretty similar. Those are the only main differences of control.